the manager, we have to be careful not to give him too much authority at the club. Too much. And at the same time, I'm not saying he shouldn't have influence, but come on, every Arsenal appointment doesn't have to have the endorsement, the 100% of endorsement of Arteta. He needs to be challenged. He needs to be challenged. Welcome to the present. How we're doing this wonderful afternoon. A few hours to the game. So have you guys seen this news? Tomas Rosicky, leading contender for Arsenal sporting director role, and has been in regular contact with a member of the club hierarchy as the search for Edu's replacement. He wants to see the season out with Sparta if possible. Now, when I saw this story, I smiled. It reeks of Arteta. Tell me it doesn't reek of Arteta. Now, I'm not against Arteta having some level of power and influence at the club, but it's looking like Mikel Arteta, in my personal opinion, some of you might disagree, is having too much influence at the club, too much power. Now, you know I'm a great Arteta supporter. I want him to succeed, and I hope he succeed, even though he has just won FA Cup. I'm not being cynical. It's just a fact, even though I like the manager. We have to be careful not to give him too much authority at the club. Too much. And at the same time, I'm not saying he shouldn't have influence, but come on, every Arsenal appointment doesn't have to have the endorsement, the 100% of endorsement of Arteta. He needs to be challenged. He needs to be challenged. And if you look at his antecedents, especially when the kind of players we've been bringing in the last 2 years, I'm not saying the players are flops, but there are question marks. And when it comes to the role of sporting director, I think the sporting director and the manager have to work together, obviously, but you need a sporting director that can see your blind side. You have to have a debate of the quality of players you are bringing in, why you are bringing certain players. We saw it with Klopp. Sometimes Klopp didn't get his first choice. He got the choice of a sporting director and it still worked. We've seen other managers. But the Arsenal is beginning to feel like every decision has to go to Mikel Arteta. And I'm not against, listen carefully, I'm not against Mikel Arteta having this influence. When does it become too much influence? On every facet of the club. From the media aspect of the club, the playing, I understand the playing staff, the squad, yes, it should have a major influence. When it comes to somebody who will technically be his boss, I don't think he should have that kind of influence. The Kroenkes and Richard Galley should have that kind of influence. And it doesn't mean he should not chip in his idea of who he would like to work with, because he wants a compatibility within the manager, and the sporting director. But you don't want the manager being a major influence in the appointment, keyword in the appointment of the sporting director, because there'll be a conflict of interest if the manager is not doing well. Do you think it would be easy for the sporting director to say, you're not doing well, I'm going to pull the plug, when it was basically the person that actually recommended his employment? Exactly. So I am not against Tomas Rosicky, but I am not endorsing kind of appointment. I think he's still green. Tomas Rosicky is not as experienced in the game. We can't have too much. See, let's this factor, right? This is Arteta's first managerial gig, right? We are going to bring another relatively inexperienced sporting director. I don't think it's a smart thing. No. I know. Now, I have nothing against Tomas Rosicky, good player for Arsenal. Unfortunately, he didn't reach his crescendo of injuries he was suffering at Arsenal. Good player. As sporting director, I don't know too much, but I do not like this reunion that Arsenal want to do with every appointment they need to make. No, we can't have a relatively inexperienced sporting director and a relatively inexperienced manager. I don't think that's a good mix. Some of you might disagree. Tell me why you are disagreeing with me that we can have an inexperienced manager, an inexperienced sporting director is not a sensible mix. That's why I don't think the potential appointment of Tomas Rosicky to be the sporting director of Arsenal is a good one. I could be wrong. It could turn out to be a fantastic appointment. Being young or inexperienced doesn't mean it will not work. But what are the probabilities? In the realm of possibility, everything is impossible. But in the realm of probabilities, what are the chances? Especially when we are seeing the grumbling within the Arsenal fan base that Arteta needs to win something. And it's not looking great in front of the Premier League. Right now, Liverpool are still leading. It doesn't mean we cannot catch them, but are we looking strong like that team that can catch Liverpool at the moment? At the moment, it doesn't look like that. Things could change in the next few games, I understand. But we are still very competitive in the Cups. We are playing the Carling Cup against Newcastle first leg in the next few minutes. So, back to the sporting director story. I like Tomas Rosicky, but this appointment, I am not feeling it. I am very, very concerned. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Are you concerned? Like I'm concerned about this? I don't think we can have two quote unquote rookies, in my personal opinion, at the forefront of the club. The manager is relatively inexperienced. The sporting director relatively inexperienced. How many contacts does Tomas Rosicky have in transfer markets? Like, let's see. This Arsenal should not be a club where we are breeding inexperienced personnel. No, I'm not for that. Like I said, it's just my opinion. Some of you might like it. Some of you might find it attractive. I do not say it that way. Let me know what you think. Nothing against Tomas Rosicky. I don't think it's a good mix to have two inexperienced people leading a club. I prefer the Real Sociedad sporting director is available. Like I said, nothing is set in stone. He has not been appointed. But according to Ed Aarons, right, Tomas Rosicky is a leading contender for Arsenal sporting director role and has been in regular contact with a member of the club's hierarchy, including Mikel Arteta. Like the video, very important. Subscribe if you're new here. Make sure you turn on your notification bell. And I'd like to know your opinion regarding this. Are you for Tomas Rosicky being the sporting director, or you're against it like me? Not anything against Tomas Rosicky particularly. I don't just see it sensible to have two quote-unquote rookies at the helm of the club. Like the videos one more time. Subscribe if you're new here. And make sure you turn on your notification bell. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.